I am Cody, a psychologist. And yes, there are lonely extroverts. Today we will reflect on one of the most charismatic protagonists in anime, Yuji Itadori. Spoilers for the anime, but not for the manga. Let's go. The great hero of the series has the greatest villain within him. Not in the sense that Itadori is a bad person, but that Sukuna, theoretically the strongest curse in the series, resides within Itadori. Itadori is yet another protagonist who extensively discusses the idea of empathy and self-sacrifice for others. However, in his case, it's a bit different. It's not exactly assertive empathy. Is there such a thing as bad empathy? Yes, when it is in excess. The empathy fatigue syndrome, a term coined by psychologist Charles Figley, occurs when someone experiences emotional exhaustion due to excessive empathy. This can result in feelings of self-blame, like always feeling guilty when they can't help someone, eventually leading to exhaustion. This could be what's happening with today's character, as even Nanami tried to escape such a state, as mentioned in his video. But let's consider his context. Take a look. Itadori has to collect all parts of Sukuna, making Sukuna whole again. And then Itadori will be sacrificed as he'll die alongside Sukuna. Meanwhile, Itadori tries to save as many people as possible before being sacrificed. It wasn't always this way, though. Initially, Itadori had no powers. However, he possessed many qualities of an athlete. Strength and speed. He's almost a superhuman, like Captain America. Moreover, Itadori excels in social interactions. He makes friends very easily and is extremely extroverted, like Satoru Gojo, making him the opposite of introversion. Itadori can talk to anyone, invites them to hang out regardless of how long he's known them. For him, it doesn't matter. When Hunpei's mother invites him over for lunch, he simply accepts. Most of us, when visiting a friend's house, might hide our hunger, saying we eat little or avoid seconds, even if we want more. But Itadori doesn't hesitate. Nobara says something interesting about him. Itadori is the kind of person who brings his own chair and sits down. You know, that person who enters your life, and before you know it, you're friends? That's Itadori. Studies suggest that extroverted people are happier, more active, and assertive, while introverts are described as calmer, passive, and less social. One hypothesis is that extroverted tendencies, such as showing high energy and excellent communication skills, like Itadori, are highly valued in many societies. This may explain why extroverts appear happier, as they live in cultures that reward their behavior. Think about it. Doesn't it seem like Gojo and Itadori are happier than Nanami or Megumi? However, Itadori's case is much more complex. As he describes himself, he is someone who is alone. Despite talking well and making many friends, he doesn't share much about himself. We know nothing of his past, whereas Megumi has had flashbacks, Itadori hasn't. Two events profoundly shape his life: the loss of a loved one and a drastic change in his own essence. Itadori loses his grandfather. As he mentions, his grandfather was like a father to him. The death of a loved one leaves a lasting mark, and depending on the circumstances, it can alter someone's perspective for a long time. For Itadori, his grandfather's death also signified a lack of purpose. With his grandfather's last words, Itadori tries to find new meaning in his life. His grandfather died sad, alone, without anyone by his side. He warns Itadori about this. Losing loved ones is a common experience for many young people. A study found that 92% of youth experience a significant loss by age 16. A significant loss might include the death of a pet, often a child's first encounter with death, or a parental figure. For Itadori, it all happens quickly. The loss of his grandfather, followed by his introduction to a new world, the world of sorcerers. Here he gains a new perspective on reality. It's almost like leaving the Matrix. Ordinary people in the anime are unaware of the world's true nature. Itadori hardly has time to grieve. It seems this phase is scattered across moments of greater reflection. Thus, Itadori quickly decides to live to protect others. His grandfather's words about him being strong become his greatest trigger, leading him to sacrifice himself early on to save his friends. In a pivotal moment, he swallows one of Sukuna's cursed fingers. As I've mentioned, Sukuna begins to live inside him,